Hey HCDA, and welcome back to Captain of Industry, where I am just chilling out and playing this game and trying to figure out how this works. I am playing this for the very first time, so it's probably far from perfect, but it's a nice way to explore in a game, and I know a lot of you just like to have this on the background, play along with me as I'm trying to figure stuff out, and several of you actually have been very helpful with trying to give me some tips and tricks to do a little bit better than I have been doing so far. I in particular want to give a shout out to Dinosaur Bob, who has been giving me quite a few useful tips and tricks. For example, apparently I should uncheck this box, so that will actually not allow my vehicles to drive around with just a single unit of anything anymore, but it will just drive around with complete loads. So that should hopefully make things a little bit more efficient. I do think that will mean we have a lot less trucks driving around. So kind of a shame on that that end. But anyway, we will have a lot less trucks driving around if I get my way anyway after this episode, because we just researched conveyor belts, and that is going to lead us to do, hopefully, a lot of automation. Now, there was another thing that was pointed out to me that I didn't actually realize. When you have multiple different recipes enabled, you apparently should be able to move them up and down. Yep, there we go. And that means it will prioritize trying to make this recipe before it uses this one. So in particular, this means that hopefully it will start using the iron scraps rather than the iron ore. Because remember, we have this abandoned communication station over here that actually has a lot of those iron scraps. Now it's going to be, now my trucks hopefully will be removing that and transporting it over here, so we can make some useful stuff out of that rather than using the ore that we have been mining. So, nice little trick there to make things a little bit more efficient. In the meanwhile, also going back to our ship over here, look, we actually completely repaired our ship, so we should now have a cargo ship. Not entirely sure where that is. I probably need to build something in order to see it. A trading dock, maybe? We already have one of those, so that's not it. A shipyard? No, we already have one of those as well. Not entirely sure what we actually need to build to make use of that ship, but we don't need it for now anyway. What we can do is actually tell our ship to start exploring a little bit more. So, yeah. You go here and you go start exploring to see what else is here. Okay, so when it comes to automation, I have no idea how this is going to work, but the way I'm reasoning is that if I look at what we currently have set up, for example, in terms of iron production over here, we have a blast furnace, which at some point is going to take in both iron ore and coal. Then that's going to make some molten iron as well as some slag, which is kind of a waste product for the moment. That's going to go into one of these metal caster. Now that is actually already automated by means of these little flowing patterns. But the iron that actually comes out here, we are currently using in a lot of these buildings. So for example, over here we have an assembly where we're making, let's say for example, mechanical parts. That's just straight up from iron into mechanical parts. So a very straightforward recipe. Now, I'm actually wondering, should we automate a lot of this? And I'm honestly not entirely sure what the answer is, but setting a couple of automated processes up is at least a lot of fun, so let's go and do that. Oh look, we actually found an oil rig level 2 over here, which we can repair by the means of using some construction parts. That's actually quite interesting. Okay, so let's see if this makes any sense. I have storage set up here for both coal and iron ore. And then I connected a belt, and apparently there's two types of belts. We have the U-shaped conveyor, which transports loose products, which is what we're transporting here, because these are both loose products. We also have a flat conveyor for solid products, so that's interesting. Anyway, the reason I put up a storage is that allows my trucks to just go and deliver this stuff, and that should be very helpful. We probably want to make sure well, we don't necessarily want it full. We don't want to keep it empty either, so let's just keep it as it is for now. But look at that, look at that. There's actually some coal flowing in here. Oh, we actually do need to build an exhaust as well for the waste. And we are also getting slag out of here. So let's see. We can also build something for that. I just don't entirely know for sure what slag is. Is that loose or... Let's find out. Yes, it is loose. Okay, so we can remove this building. So I figured I'd also make an exporting belt for the slag into a loose storage for that. However, now I'm trying to build the storage when I'm actually out of the construction parts. Okay, so what we can actually do is we can upgrade this to a level 2. So that's interesting. Can we actually quick deliver that? Yes, we can. Might as well use some of the Unity we've been stocking up. Now it's preparing the upgrade, so we will have this assembly 1 turning into an assembly 2 to make some more iron. And we can probably also just start boosting this so we get a little bit of extra production out of it. There we go, a fair amount of extra boosted production. Let's do the same thing for the other one. And then hopefully we'll get the construction parts up and running quickly enough. I'm actually wondering if it makes sense to completely automate this type of production as well. So I'm just going to set up a storage for both bricks and wood over here, which are the other 2 materials that we need in order to make construction parts. And then I figure we might as well just set up an assembler over here to make exactly that. I actually didn't notice this before, but that actually tells you in the tooltip what the supported products are that you can actually transport on those different belts. Which is quite useful because honestly I was just wondering whether or not wood was a solid product or a loose product because, well, it made most sense as solid, which it actually is, but just wondering about that. But yeah, you can easily tell just from looking at the tooltip, which I think is super convenient. Okay, so here we go. This is starting to look really promising. We have the loose materials coming in over here. Then we're smelting that into the useful iron over here. We actually have a full box of iron sitting here right now. And we also have some wood collected over here. And now all we need to do is bring in some bricks. And then we can start automated production of the construction parts. And again, I should probably upgrade this just to make it a little bit faster. Then I am actually outputting that into another box over here. I know we had similar things like that set up elsewhere in our factory, but this is completely automated other than the fact that we need to bring in these raw resources. Now actually over here, where is it? Where is my brick factory? Over here. I added in another belt to my brick factory as well because it wasn't actually outputting. I didn't actually set up any unit storage for the bricks themselves. But now I connected it with a belt and did actually assign the storage to the bricks. So at least we now have an easy way to actually start stocking up on some bricks. Remember, these are very easy to make. We just need some coal, some water and some dirt. So now I've set this up, I'm actually wondering if it makes sense to keep these storage units up here. Probably not. So let's see, can we actually delete these? Of course we can. We can start deleting it like that. So that does mean that the materials need to be removed first, but at least then we will be getting rid of that. Similarly, I also don't think it necessarily makes a whole lot of sense to keep this working, although we can probably have the iron scrap recipe enabled. Do we still have iron scraps actually? No, we do not. We actually completely removed this abandoned communication station. Okay. So then I think once again it has become time to delete these factories that we currently have over here so we can repurpose that area for something else. Something else I actually completely forgot about last time around is the captain's office, which apparently allows us to do all kinds of cool stuff. It actually costs quite a bit of construction parts, but we have a lot of those now. We're actually super fast producing those. So, let me think about this for a moment. Where am I going to put this? Because last time around I was starting to build everything around our village, which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do. So this time around, let's build it, I don't know, kind of out of the way over here next to our waste production facility. Is that a smart place to put this? Probably doesn't matter too much. I shouldn't overthink this. I should probably check though. Where's the layers? Yeah, just double checking where our actual resources are, because we definitely don't want to put it on top of that. Okay, let's just build it over there. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. We have our little captain's quarters over here, captain's office. And we can put some edicts into work now. We can spend some unity in order to either increase our population growth, our food consumption. We actually need to, we actually get 1 unity by increasing the food consumption by 25%. Okay, that's interesting. We also have some industrial edicts. We can reduce the fuel consumption, we can reduce the maintenance. All of that seems pretty useful actually. So yeah, why not just up the food production, food consumption, I should say, a little bit. We have plenty of food. At least it feels like we have plenty of food. Famous last words. And then maybe, I don't know, reduce the fuel consumption a little bit. Saving on fuel can never be a bad thing, right? It actually does cost quite a bit of electricity to keep this working, along with some workers as well. So we do need to keep an eye on that. But we're actually researching things like water and crop rotation now as well. So I'm hoping that will actually lead to some interesting new options for food production as well. In the meanwhile, because we've set this up now and we actually research blueprints, I think we should be able to use some blueprints in order to copy paste this entire design very easily. If I can just find the blueprints, there we go. Let's see, create a new blueprint by selecting something like this. Okay, so this is a basic, not iron construction necessarily, or at least not just that, but this is the construction parts 1. And then how do we actually use this? Hold on. There we go, double click. And then we could build it just like this. Not entirely sure. Do the trucks actually need to be able to reach the back of this? Or can I just leave it something like that? Let's find out, I guess. In the meanwhile, I've also been doing some exploring of the areas around me. However, I didn't actually find anything new. So apparently you can also just visit these places and not find anything in particular. Makes sense, I guess, that not every single one of these question marks holds something useful, but I am spending quite a bit of fuel in order to have this ship be driving around, or not driving around, floating around. So it's something to keep an eye on in terms of what we're actually doing. Now I'm actually getting warnings now that we have a low food supply, so 12 months of food is apparently not enough. So let's go and deal with that as well. What just happened? We got attacked, apparently, by another ship, but we got defeated. We did 0 damage, but the enemy also did 0 damage. Okay. So we have pirates here? Interesting. We found 1 ship with a battle score of 100. Apparently, we do not have that. Well, the ship is trying to get back again, so hopefully he will be safe, and we can try to explore somewhere else. We also have a groundwater pump available now, so I figured we might as well use this groundwater to good use. I'm not entirely sure yet where to put this, so let's see if we can fit in some farms first. So I have a couple of farms set up here now, and we can actually build a new type of farm. We can build the irrigated farm, which allows us to put some water on here to hopefully speed up the production, or at least increase the production. Now again, I'm thinking we should probably connect a pump to a storage, so this is all automated. And then let's see, I need to transport that somehow by means of a pipe, and then we can connect this up as well. Now actually I put down a second farm here, and I'm wondering if we actually need to put up, not this side of the pipe, this side. We could just connect the pipe like that. We can't. Oh, it just needs to be 2 pieces. There we go. So this means we have the irrigation completely automated as well. Let's also build a couple of new pickup trucks, because honestly it feels like we're getting a little bit strained on the production side here now. And we get a message that our farm has no crop assigned. So by the looks of it, we basically need to have it replenish its fertility for 6 months in order to compensate 3 months worth of production, because it takes 10.5% fertility to produce potatoes, and we can apparently replenish 3.6% by using green manure for 2 months. That doesn't sound particularly efficient, but yeah, I guess that's what we're going with. Oh, look at that. It actually looks really nice how it's actually irrigating the land like this. So I've actually been looking at the farm rotation a little bit more, and it looks like that the further the fertility goes down, the faster the natural replenishment actually goes as well. So right now, because I'm optimizing this quite a bit, we actually have a fertility equilibrium of 96%. So that means we are going to be able to keep this fairly high. However, I think if I just switch this up a little bit like this, it goes down a little bit lower. But if you look at our original farm, even though we've been non-stop farming here for quite a while, it is actually doing still pretty well. So I honestly don't think we need to be worried about this too much. It's only down to 60%. I just turned on the crop rotation here as well, but initially this was at something like, we can actually check, I had it set like this. It was set at an equilibrium of 45. It was actually doing a pretty good job at actually producing enough food for us, even though we weren't actually refertilizing the soil. So yeah, just switching it up like this should put us in a pretty good position. What is not putting us in a very good position is the fact that we don't have enough workers, and we don't really have the space to expand our population. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn off the additional unity production for the food. Also means I'm going to have to turn off the fuel saver over here, and it also looks like the boost on the construction parts is actually non-stop as well. I thought it was only going to be for 1 month, but it just keeps running. So now we are once again producing some equilibrium, and I think we should be able to now remove our farm over here. We just put down 2 new farms instead, so hopefully that will be able to keep up with the food production. And by removing this and probably also relocating this food market over here, we should be able to then expand into this direction and get some more people in our actual village. Okay, so the food market is now on this top side of our village as well, and I am going to be building a new housing district over here, which also means I should probably turn back on the beacon, so we are actually bringing in some more people as well. This actually consumes a lot of unity as well. Didn't actually realize that before, but this should now be bringing in people. Ah, okay, this is interesting. So we actually don't have workers to man the beacon. Well, we do now. We have 1 person in here apparently. Oh, there's actually no one in here. So what we need to do is probably put up the priority a little bit. Let's just put this as priority number 1, because this is what is going to allow us to bring in more people. Well, speaking of our village, we can actually build a water facility as well, and we again need to attach this to the village. So let's think about this for a moment, because we don't want it to get in the way. I probably want to build another 2 districts over here, and then potentially another 1 over here, and maybe even 2 more over here. We do have the space for that, so let's make sure we actually leave ourselves some room to do that and build the water facility over here. Now that does mean that I probably also want another groundwater pump somewhere close to that. So let's build one of those over here. What's the export side? This is the export, okay. And let's just put that over here. Now I'm also going to be building a pipeline, as you can see, and I'm actually making sure that this pipeline goes up so the trucks can still drive underneath. Okay, so this is interesting. The trucks are actually not delivering the iron ore anymore because I removed the storage. So I'm just going to put the storage back. But let me know in the comments, how are you actually supposed to do this? Are you supposed to store it and then have another truck drive to the storage to the actual delivery place? Or obviously I could have, and I actually accidentally didn't do that. I could have built this storage inside of here. And it does seem that the trucks are delivering the iron ore to over here. For some reason, I'm just not producing anything. Why am I not producing? Because I am actually overproducing iron already. But why are you not working? What are you not getting? You're not getting bricks? Ah, okay, so it's actually not the iron storage that's the problem. So I can remove this one again. Never mind me. But the actual problem is the brick production, which is too low apparently. Oh, okay, so this is an interesting problem. I need coal and water and dirt in order to make bricks. I have most of that. I actually don't have enough dirt of all things. Well, I can also just trade for bricks, and I can just trade some wood and use some Unity in order to get some of that. So let's see. The price does go up after a while, apparently. But still, that shouldn't be too big of an issue. I can also just trade some of this. And then hopefully after I do some more mining, we will be getting some more dirt from that as well. Speaking of ships and trading and stuff like that, by the way, I've been doing some more exploring, and yet again it turned up absolutely nothing, so a little bit disappointed there. Alrighty, so we have some more population now. We actually have 0 number of workers available, but we do actually have all our factories staffed once again, so we're actually producing stuff now. Okay, so that was a little bit of automation. We have some more irrigation set up as well. We expanded our factory. We have started to automate a lot of stuff. In the next episode, I probably need to go figure out how I get more dirt, because honestly, that seems to be the bottleneck. And again, I can't believe dirt of all things is our problem for the moment. We're also on our way to researching the new research lab, and let me check actually. We've made a fair chunk out of the technology tree so far. I mean, we have a very long way to go, so it's really still early beginnings. But we are getting into some more interesting stuff. There's a lot of things like balancers and things like that over here as well. We have concrete production, which is going to be using all kinds of stuff that I currently don't have any idea where we're supposed to get that. Probably somewhere on the island, don't get me wrong, but just haven't actively seen it yet. We actually did unlock vegetable farming, so before we end, let me check. Can we actually start making some vegetables? We can. It does take an additional month though, so that is something to take into consideration. But we might as well switch things up a little bit and add some vegetables to the mix. It does decrease our equilibrium a little bit once again. Is there a more efficient way to do that? Nope. I have a feeling we might actually need to dedicate a fair amount of our island to food. Still really like how this looks though. I'm not saying we're running out of space or anything like that, but if you take into consideration that a huge amount of this area is actually covered in resources, which I guess is a good thing, we actually don't have unlimited building space, and we also need to make sure our trucks can drive around, things like that. So all in all, I have a feeling we're going to be in a bit of a logistics puzzle at some point, trying to make sure we have enough room to build and expand. But anyway, that's tomorrow's problem. For now, we are doing just fine. Look at that, 18 months of food. So we're doing pretty well on that front. We are also now producing a fair amount of Unity once again. We actually get an additional Unity from the fact that we now have water here. What are we spending it on though? Oh, the beacon. We turned the beacon on. Okay, that makes sense. But if we would turn the beacon off, we would actually be producing over 2 Unity per month. And I've actually started to use that a little bit more to get stuff delivered faster and things like that. So Unity is a pretty good investment to get up and running, I believe. Anyway, that is it for now. I hope you enjoyed this one. Again, let me know in the comments if you have any tips or tricks for me, especially when it comes to building your village. I have a feeling I'm completely doing that wrong, but I can't really plan ahead because I don't know what is coming, which, to be honest, it's quite fun. But let me know in the comments if you have any tips and tricks for me on that front as well. Either way, if you're still here, you're awesome, and I do hope to catch you in the next one.